Okay, so this is a rough sketch of approximately what the average sleep cycle for a human on any given night would look like. Basically, stage one is the lightest sleep, not counting being awake, and stage four is the deepest sleep, and each of these is 1 hour. So as you're moving throughout the night, through sleep, you notice that you kind of go in and out of deep sleep and light sleep. And at the top here, these red marks, that's where you're experiencing REM or REM sleep. Now, REM sleep is where basically you're dreaming. You can dream sort of in other stages of the sleep, but this is primarily where you're dreaming. And now also it's interesting and important to note that this is where you undergo sleep paralysis, where you can't really move your muscles at all. And a lot of scientists have come to think that that's to keep you from acting out your dreams, so that's one way to stop that. Um, so yeah, basically the good things to know for this are that the deeper stage here is the deeper sleep you're having. One more important thing to note is the importance of REM sleep. People, when they are deprived of REM sleep, seem a lot more fatigued than usual. Basically, it's very important for your sleep. Sleep in general is also very important. The average person needs around 8 hours of sleep per night. And basically, if you're getting less than that, you're really limiting how functional you can be. Alright, so the next main topic is dreams and dreaming. Now, we all, of course, know what dreaming is, so I'll skip that part, but famed psychoanalyst Sigmund Freud was the first real psychologist or person really to analyze dreams in a big fashion. He came out with his book, The Interpretation of Dreams, in 1900. Big, thick book, basically explaining how dreams are a window into the unconscious. It shows us desires that we secretly have that only come out during dreams, things like that. Now, Freud basically stated that there's the manifest content of a dream and the latent content of a dream. These are two terms you'll definitely want to know for the AP Psych test. The manifest content of the dream is the basic storyline. For example, you're going to school or something. That's what the manifest content would really mean, whereas the latent content is the symbolic meaning. So you're going to school because you're nervous about school, because you have anxiety about tests for whatever reason, things like that. We know that a lot of his interpretations aren't necessarily true and objective because dreams vary a lot by culture. For example, some cultures dream a lot about cows, for example, because cows are a big part of their culture. So it can't be really universally judged on such a basis. One theory that's not as subjective and more scientific is the activation synthesis theory, which basically states that dreams occur as a way for our brains to make sense of random electrical impulses. So, electrical impulses are activated, and our brain makes sense of them through the synthesis of the information. So basically, that's stating dreams are a way for our brains to make sense of essentially nonsense. Okay, so now I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the most common sleep disorders. The most common sleep disorder itself is insomnia, and that's the general disorder you get for feeling like you're not getting enough sleep when you can't sleep, things like that. Sleep apnea is when basically you stop breathing for certain periods of time during the night. A lot of people find out they do it because their partner who's in bed with them thinks that they are snoring, which they obviously are. This can be treated, however, with certain breathing techniques that you do when you're awake. Night terrors are interesting because they're not just bad dreams, specifically because they happen during the deepest sleep, stage 4 sleep, and not during REM sleep. They produce feelings of terror, and most commonly it's in children. And also interesting is that when you wake up, they often don't remember what exactly they were dreaming about. Narcolepsy, I think we're all familiar with that, is when you're awake during the day and then you just suddenly fallen asleep, and it's often commonly caused by exciting events. Cataplexy, which goes along with it, is the sudden loss of muscle control. They found that narcolepsy has a genetic kind of biological basis because they've seen animals such as dogs being prone to narcolepsy.